What's going on, guys? How are you doing today? It's Angry Roleplayer, and today I want to show you another build that has made its return after a long break, and it's Akkhan's Blast Shield build. In fact, if you know who's me, you know I'm a big Crusader fan. I'm playing Crusader from day one when it has arrived with the Reaper of Souls expansion. It was one of my favorite and still one of my favorite classes in the game. I'm a big Crusader fanatic and nerd, so I really like digging deep into Crusader shit and keeping all these Crusader builds up to date as well. And actually, Blast Shield build is one of the first builds that existed for Crusader. It was the very solid build, and back in the day we used also Akkhan set. We didn't have Legacy of Nightmares back then, it was shitty, so we used Akkhan set with the Blast Shield and it worked really well. And the setup is almost identical, except we didn't have this Akkhan's Manacles back then. It was added just later, but it's pretty much the same as it was before, just much higher damage. We also used Gerfalcon's Foot as well, and it was one of the rarest flails in the fucking game as well. It was exceptional hard to drop this. Then the drop rates were increased, and now it's not so rare as it was before. And everything else is pretty much identical as it was from day one. So, what about this build, how it works, and what's the power of the build? The build is quite powerful right now, and with just the recent patch that hit yesterday, the Akkhan's champion power has been increased, and you now deal 1,300% increased damage, and it means that the Legacy of Nightmares version of the Blast Shield has been surpassed, because with Akkhan set you can also use Endless Walk, or you can use Focus and Restrain, or you can use Convention of the Elements as well as Unity as well. So it's extremely much more versatile and it's just more powerful than the Blast Shield version right now of the Legacy of Nightmares set. So let's go over the build and I'll tell you what exactly you will need for the build to make it work. I cleared GR100 with pretty much mediocre gear. I don't have very high augments. I don't even have all augments on me. I don't have 1, 2, 3. I don't have 3 augments on me, and my augments are like a level 80 at maximum. My Paragon is 1,500, so it's nothing crazy. My flail is not very good. It's pretty low damage, as you can see. It can be around 2 and 8 to 9k damage, but it's very low. And I cleared GR100 just several hours ago, and it was pretty straightforward, pretty smooth. And the build is absolutely viable right now. So what do you need for the build? First of all, it's 6-piece Akkhan set. It's now a 7-piece Akkhan set with the talisman, but we're not using the talisman, so it's just the helm, chest, shoulders, gloves, pants, and boots. For the helm, we need strength, weight, hit chance. You can roll Blast Shield damage here as well, if you want, and I think that for the end game push you will need Blast Shield damage here as usual, and drop this 1000 weight here. For the shoulder, strength, weight, area damage, and CDR. For the gloves, strength, hit damage, chance, cooldown reduction. For the chest, strength, weight, life, or reduced damage from elites. For the pants, strength, weight, and all resistance. For the boots, strength, weight, all resistance, and Blast Shield damage here is mandatory. For the rings, we have the compass rose, and your perfect compass rose will be strength, CDR, hit damage, and hit chance. Another one is convention of the elements, and you need hit damage, hit chance, and cooldown reduction, preferably ancient, of course. The amulet is the Traveler's Pledge, of course, for the Endless Walk set, and this is like the perfect Traveler's Pledge here with fire, critical hit damage, and hit chance. We're using the fire combustion of the Blast Shield, that's why we need fire everywhere. For the bracers, these are the Akkhan's Manacles that boost out Blast Shield damage, and the stats should be fire skill, strength, weight, and hit chance as well. For the belt is one and only, almost entirely the most DPSing option here, which is the Witching Hour. You need the ancient one, of course, with this is intelligence, so fuck. I actually did GR100 with intelligence. It's unbelievable, guys. I haven't even noticed. I could definitely have like much more damage if I had strength here. I'm retarded, sorry, but so it means that I can even clear higher than this and then greater if 100. So it's switching our strength there, attack speed and hit damage here. For the weapon is Gilthangan's Foot that removes the resource cost of Blast Shield. We're casting Blast Shield for free, and it has been buffed as well. It can now roll with up to 350% increased Blast Shield damage. This is one of the reasons why the Blast Shield is viable now. And another reason why the Blast Shield is back again is the jacking board has been buffed again, and it can roll up to 300% increased Blast Shield damage, and it still ricochets up to 6 additional enemies as well, fixed. So you need strength, life, hit chance, and cooldown reduction. For an absolutely top end, you will need strength, Blast Shield damage, hit chance, and cooldown reduction. Don't forget for the Akkhans to be absolutely viable and to do damage on the 6 piece, you need around 55.6 cooldown reduction. I don't have as much cooldown reduction, but one thing helps me here, and this is the Gogok of Swiftness. So the legendary gems that you should be using are the Bane of the Trap, the global deep damage multiplier, Bane of the Stricken to kill the Rift Guardian and all the single elites, as well as the Gogok of Swiftness for cooldown reduction, attack speed, as well as dodge. This is overall a very universal gem that helps with everything. If you don't have a lot of cooldown reduction like me and you're missing the rolls, here for example I don't have CDR here, my CDR roll here is low, I don't have CDR on Copper's roll, so I'm missing quite a bit of CDR. So Gogok of Swiftness makes it with 15% more CDR, it multiplies my existing cooldown reduction, and I have the goal CDR for a permanent Akkuras champion here. Also Gogok gives me attack speed as well as dodge, which increases my shit toughness as well. Overall I think it's the best gem for this setup. Another best option here is of course the Pain Enhancer. Pain Enhancer give you tremendous amount of firepower, but at the cost of toughness and at the cost of CDR. You need absolutely perfect 55% CDR here without Gogok, and with Pain Enhancer so that it will have permanent accurate champion, and also Pain Enhancer will give you more damage than Gogok, but at the cost of toughness and CDR. Keep it in mind, guys. As for the cube, there's 3 options here. On the weapon Akkhan's leniency, each enemy hit by your Blast Shield increases the damage of your Blast Shield by 20%, and it stacks infinitely. But you know there is a limit with attack speed, and it expires pretty fast. So the more density and the more attack speed you have, the more stacks you have, and the more damage you do. This is the one of the only infinite stacking items left in the game, but it's pretty, you know, it's not overpowered. Simply because, you know, the density is not really that good as it was, you know, several PTRs ago, and overall it's very good. It's very essential, it's very strong, but it's not overpowered in any way. It's just essential for the build. As for the armor slot, it's a Killer's Cuirass. We never spend anything here, any cost there. We're casting Blast Shield for free with a Gilthangan's Foot, so a Killer's Cuirass is always up and we always have the damage reduction. And honestly, the damage reduction on this setup is one of the highest, maybe the highest toughness of all builds out there for Akkhan right now. This is very tough setup, and I haven't really died much. In fact, I think I haven't died like maybe one, or maybe haven't died at all in my last clear that I did. Especially when we have Unity in our slot as well. So double Unities and Unity, a Killer's Cuirass, the damage reduction from the 6-piece bonus and everything else. Also when we run around the rift, we get damage reduction from the Travel Splash and Endless Walk set. So overall this is a very tough setup with very good damage, very good density clearing potential. Unfortunately it has one main problem, which is single target, mainly for one reason. Look at this, Blast Shield damage is increased by almost 500% for the first enemy it hits. and it's the same problem as the Invoker build, as the Impale build, and all builds that rely on the first enemy it hits. The only big problem here is you actually need to point your cursor at the first enemy here, and that should be the elite that you need to kill, because you know elite is the most problematical, of course. It just hits you with affixes and all this shit, frozens, arcanes and all this fucking garbage, and you actually need to point your finger at the elite so that it will become the first enemy that you hit with the blast shield, and then and only then you get the maximum damage from the Akkhan's manacles. Now this is a huge problem when you have like 30 enemies on screen and everything is moving around and the elite is moving around and you have the blue champion pack that's moving around and all that shit, and it's very problematical to specifically select that one enemy, the first enemy you need to hit. This is why I don't think this is a very optimal, you know, description and the optimal way to do damage. It still works and it helps against single target, especially good against the bosses which are single target for the most part, but overall in the Rift it is pretty, you know, annoying. I would say it's pretty annoying and it's pretty disturbing, because most of the time you simply cannot effectively select that first enemy on the screen, and this is the problem. Okay, let's go with the skills. So on the left button, our primary is Blast Shield Combust. We'll use the Fire Rune. This is the most damaging rune out of all. A lot of people might be thinking that the Holy damage deals more. Yes, you know, in a very good density, Holy may be a little higher than Combust, but overall across all the rifts, across all the density, across all the game, and the rune itself, it does some much more damage than the Holy rune, so Fire is number one. On the right button I have Akkhan's Champion Prophet, just clicking on the right when it expires. On the first button, Shield Stitcher, Drunk Water to drag this elites into density. Then Iron Skin Flash, simply that, you know, you can get stuck and die easily. That's why I'm always using Flash for the Blast Shield rune. Steel Skin can get you stuck and you fucking die in density. Then Laws of Valor Critical, 50% crit damage, and also when you empower you get attack speed as well. So you get 23% attack speed when you empower and 50% increase hit damage. And assuming you have around 500% hit damage, you get around 10% flat damage increase when you empower the Laws of Valor. And this is a little trick that I learned a long time ago when I started playing Blast Shield, and trust me, this is fucking priceless shit. You know what it does? Shield Glare Uncertainty. Enemies caught in the glare have a 50% chance to be charmed and fight for you for 8 seconds. This is crazy amount of control that you gain through the Rift, and trust me, this is priceless. Divine Verdict cannot even compare with this. It is like you will do a little more damage, but the mobs will hit you more. And the deal about Uncertainty is that the mobs are completely, you know, busy with fighting themselves. They just do not attack you, and they basically you are just have more time attacking the mobs than evading their attacks. That's a fucking deal. You spend more time actually standing and pumping shit in their ass. That's it. That's how it works. With Divine, if you try to use Divine Verdict here, you will do a little more damage, but you will spend more time just trying to evade attacks, relocating, moving around, trying to, you know, survive shit. With this, you're basically just doing non-stop damage all the time when they're busy fighting each other. And it also works with elites as well. So, as for the passive Fervor for cooldown reduction and attack speed, finally, more damage, more armor. Towering Shield, this increases a damage of Blast Shield by 20% and reduces the cooldown of Shield Glare by 30%, and with this, basically we're non-stopping controlling the mobs all around us, non-stopping Uncertainty, non-stopping charming the enemies. This is pretty OP, trust me, I learned it a long time ago. Long Arm of the Law is pretty essential, I would say, simply because it gives us more damage flat across the Rift for the critical rune, and there's 10% more damage across the Rift as well, and more attack speed as well, which is more important. If you use Holy Cause here, you'll get 10% more damage flat, but unfortunately this will not result in more attack speed for us. Also, another good option here is, of course, Indestructible. This will give you second life, and if you're dying too much, always You can use swap long arm the law and use indestructible for especially hardcore. I would say indestructible is exceptionally good. For the gems, I would recommend diamond and helm. Of course, this is mandatory, and for the rest, it's a mix of diamonds and rubies as much as you want. So this is it, guys. Thanks for watching and see you soon.